In this episode, we take a look at comeback mechanics that could be implemented into the Bazaar, and we discuss if we think they should be in the game at all. So let's dive under the surface. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode. Today, we wanted to talk about comeback mechanics in the Bazaar. And well, first, you should probably know what a comeback mechanic is. And it's a mechanic where somebody is losing or falling behind in a run, and they are giving something to help them come back so that a bad run isn't just completely dead. They have a fighting chance with other people's builds. And there is one comeback mechanic already in the game. It's the resurrection event with Stacia, but that's not really exactly what we're talking about. And we're going to have another video on Nunhead's channel on Monday that'll go over how we feel that could be reworked. But this is more talking about kind of small things that could help you throughout a run, just so you don't fall like hopelessly behind. How do you feel about
Well,
comeback mechanics in the Bazaar?
I'm not sure about the Bazaar, but like to make a parallel to other games, like the most obvious thing is Mario Kart, right? So when you are at the last place, you are more likely to get a, let's say, a blue turtle shell or this bullet or maybe some mushrooms to get a speed boost, right? So things like that could probably be somehow translated to the Bazaar environment. And this is what we are, well, talking about. And to be fair, it would be really fun if some of those catch-up mechanics were sort of, taken from other games like this blue turtle shell. So I don't know, it would be like this little throwback to other games. And I think that would be fun. And I suppose that a comeback mechanic in some form besides the resurrection event could be present in the game, because one slip up during a fight against a monster can set you back real far, because you are losing a lot of XP, and then you it might result in you not being able to level up before the PvP fight, and then you are significantly weaker than your opponent. And so if you are significantly weaker than your opponent, then you are more likely to lose, therefore get even far behind, like set even far behind.
Yeah, and the Mario Kart, I didn't even think about how that's a comeback mechanic. That's a really good comparison because I was so stuck on thinking of like TFT because that's what everybody compares it to. But everybody probably knows how Mario Kart works, how the items work. And of course, that's a very like strong comeback mechanic because they want all games to be close.
Oh yeah. Okay, so the main part about comeback mechanic is that it cannot be too strong, because then it would be in your interest to get left behind in the beginning of the game to get this buff at some point, and then you can overcome was the word, like pass your competition, right? So you can get so much speed through that comeback mechanic that you are essentially propelled to the first place. And in Mario Kart, that's all right, because the main concern of that game is to be a party game, right? But if we want to have, if we want the Bazaar to be sort of competitive, there needs to be more fine tuning present. And Reynard, at some point during one of the interviews, said that, well, they know how much XP you should have at particular points during a run. So if you have less than that amount of XP, then maybe you should have like increased odds of getting events that grant you more XP, like Mountain Pass or this book event. Like, I don't remember how it's called, a library, maybe?
I think it's study.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I think he specifically mentioned a 2 XP option that would show up exclusively for people who are behind, mainly people who, lost monster fights. Or yeah, just like I guess that's the only way you could really not gain XP is just lose the monster fights. But which I think is an interesting idea because getting a 2 XP study option, it definitely helps. I don't know. It's just not that none of these ideas for comeback mechanics can be very flashy or interesting, because if they are, they get too interesting and then people start losing to get to them. You know what I mean? So they really have to be basic things
Yeah.
like gain 2 XP. And somebody on Reddit suggested maybe when you lose a player fight, you gain an additional income, or when you lose a player fight, you gain a free reroll that you can use. So I don't know. It can't be too good. you don't want to feel like you're just hopeless and your run's dead, which doesn't happen that much to me, like personally. But man, when you lose like a monster fight, it can feel pretty bad. Like it feels like, you're in a rough spot and you're not sure if you're going to make it back unless you get mountain pass or can grab a
That's
couple
true.
studies.
That's true. But to be fair, like part of the skill expression of this game is knowing what monsters you can take on, right? So you cannot sort of go for the hardest fight every time without any thought behind that and just, oh well, if I lost, I'm going to get that XP back somewhere, like at some point during a run later on. Because this is dumb, in my opinion. Like, your knowledge should be to some degree, you should profit from being more knowledgeable than some other people, right? So if you can estimate better what your board can do, and you can therefore gauge what monster is, doable for you, then you should be able to profit from that. So that's why I'm sort of on the fence in terms of this extra XP for people who, just lost fights against monsters. But this idea of getting additional income or additional free rerolls is, I think, okay. And, those things actually could be, incorporated as skills, After you lose a player fight, gain 1 income, or after you lose a player fight, gain a free reroll. Like, I think this is possible to code, though I'm no expert in that field.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of that being a skill too. So it's something you can immediately see and read and don't have to. Because my thought was like, well, it just makes the game more complicated because new players are going to be like, why am I gaining an income or why am I getting a free reroll now? You know what I mean? Because nobody reads anything.
That's
So,
true.
but if it's there in the corner, and they know it's there, then they'll be like, oh, okay,
I
I
mean,
see now.
it's more of a, like, I think it should be like, maybe not should, but it could be offered during a level up or something like that. So an extra reward. So you actually have to click it, to get it.
Ooh.
So in that sense, you would be sort of forced to interact with it, so you know where that comes from. And level up is sort of like an extra hour during a run, during a day. So it's, there's time to introduce that sort of a mechanic. Or I don't know, after a fight, simply you can just add like another like small sort of half hour, where that skill would be offered.
Yeah. I think I'm like you. I'm on the fence about the idea in general. I mean, there's a reason it's not in the game now,
Mm-hmm.
even though they thought about it, because it's a really hard thing to balance. And I don't know, I'm probably against it in general. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think I would want to see this in the game necessarily. It doesn't feel like it's not a pressing issue I would have thought about if I hadn't heard it from other people, I guess.
I
Is the way I
see.
would put it.
Yeah, catch-up mechanics can result in strange play patterns, as in TFT. And to be fair, I haven't played TFT in a while, so I might be sort of out of the loop. But there were a couple of synergies, sort of that that encouraged you to lose, because first of all you have win streak and lose streak in TFT. So if you win fights, you get more gold after each encounter, after each hour, let's call it, if we want to keep the Bazaar nomenclature. So the same happens when you lose a lot. So if you are on a, let's say, 5 lose streak, you are going to get more gold per hour than if you are winning once, then losing once, and so on and so forth. And then there were things like pirate synergy, which when you were losing, then they were sort of accumulating rewards in a treasure chest, and then after you won, the treasure chest got opened, and you got a lot of rewards based on how much you lost. But then again, you had to balance that with how much health you are losing every time you get beaten. And this is something that's not obvious for newer players, and even for more advanced players, it's really tough to balance that out, like to, dance on this edge of like being easily, kicked out from the lobby, like being top 8. And then like if you get this cash out, you might instantly get pushed to the first place. So this, blue turtle shell, bullet from Mario Kart or whatever, that sort of stuff. So, if you introduce something like that and to that degree to the game, some people will try to exploit it. And of course, people that will try to exploit it are probably going to be at the very top of the competitive ladder, because you need to have a lot of knowledge and a lot of skill to put all those pieces together. But once they do, other people will try to imitate them, will try to follow with the same recipe. But, well, those people that will imitate are probably not going to be as skilled as those top players. So they will get frustrated when they losing every time when they attempt that strategy. I think that follows,
Yeah.
And then we are going to see, in that case, Reddit posts where, Hordor, this strategy doesn't work. Please, Reinhard, buff this strategy. And, I'm not sure if we want this situation on our hands.
It's definitely something that could run away too. Like, people complain about a lot, and then they finally decide that they do want to buff something with it, and then all of a sudden we're at the TF, which I haven't played a lot of TFT, but we're at a TFT situation where there are builds that like actively want to lose. That's just a weird situation to be in. I don't know if that really fits the Bazaar, but I do kind of like the idea, because you said there's like TFT items that have synergy with losing.
Yeah.
Like that could be cool in the Bazaar.
I mean,
I don't know, in limited circumstances.
Yeah. So that's why I sort of proposed that those things could be skills granted to players at some point during a run, because we already have skills like after you win a player fight, gain one gold. Like this is from this bird monster. I don't remember what it's called, but like I think you know what I mean. And there's also like another skill that says after you win a player fight, you get 2 gold. So we are by those skills incentivized to win, but at the same time, if they weren't present in the game, we still would want to win. So they are like win more skills. They do not affect your board or strategy in any way. They just, improve your economy. And I suppose some form of economy improvement for people that are falling behind could be okay, because simply granting them power is probably a bit too much. Like just handing out items or like useful skills, XP. I'm not sure if that would be okay. I'm not sure if I would like that. But economy, so essentially gold, I guess I don't know. I could be okay with that. Like as you said, like a hidden encounter, a hidden event for people who are falling behind, so they can decide to get, let's say, plus X gold at some point instead of buying stuff.
Yeah. I think I'm still against it though. I mean, I trust Tempo and their infinite wisdom. If they decide to add it, our King Reynad can do whatever he needs to do. But I don't really see why the game needs this necessarily. And I think the biggest thing is Stacia needs to be probably changed.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people will stop complaining about this.
Yeah, we have a couple of ideas what can be done with the resurrection event. So stay tuned. Monday is really, soon, so you'll know about it then. But yeah, I no, I'm with you. I don't think that a comeback mechanic or any number of comeback mechanics is sort of like pressing matter, something that needs to be done ASAP. Like maybe at some point, if they feel like it, they could introduce some little things, but at this point, I don't feel like this is a problem, at least for me. Maybe once open beta comes, and this is going to be actually yesterday, I mean, when you are watching this. Yeah, but, let's see. I think Reddit is going to be very vocal next couple days, so we'll know all about how new players feel. Like, what's the game what's the game feel like. But with the resurrection event as it is right now, you get a second chance, and that's it. And to be fair, the game could have been, designed from the ground up without any second chances in mind. So, but what's the problem here?
Yeah, I think people are just so like used to it now. They don't really think about it that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my guess, at least. But
I mean, people want to win, and people do not want to be held accountable for their own mistakes. And I understand that. I also want to win, but at the same time, like, we are not Crip. Like, we have to, be honest with ourselves. Crip has like 400 IQ or something, and he's like the master gamer, and he might go for 10 win runs back to back to back to back. And yeah, watch his stream sometimes, learn a trick or two, and try to incorporate that in your runs. But don't hate on the game because you are not winning. Like, yeah, you might have been low rolling for the past couple of games, and that happens. Your opponent might have high rolled. Like yesterday, my run was cut short by a Pygmalion with 2 Atlatls. One was heavy, and then he had 2 crooks and caltrops in the middle, all diamond, And also he had big ego, so all of those weapons were, like had lifesteal. And that was sort of sad way to go out, but that guy who were actually running that build probably had terrific time.
that's insane. I know. I feel like sometimes it feels like when you get into those late game builds, like your opponent just high rolled everything and you just got nothing like that. But
I mean, to be fair, I wasn't running a bad build because like I had 2 isocoric freezers and metronome between them. So yeah, I mean, I don't envy people who met my build, but at the same time, like, there's always a bigger fish, and that's how those games work. And I don't know, like,
something you said earlier about you don't need to go for 10 wins every run. I think I've kind of had that mindset before, and I think a lot of people get that mindset where I didn't win if I didn't get 10 wins. You know what I mean? And that's not how this game works. It's like you're going to have runs that are like, even if you're a really good player, if you watch the best players play, they're still having runs that aren't even 7 wins occasionally, because that's just how the game goes. So I don't know, you gotta like lower your expectations and just sort of have fun.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I guess lower your expectations is a good term here. Like, listen to Bo Burnham's song of that exact title, and I think you'll get what we mean. Do you know that song?
I've heard it before, but not in a long time.
Okay. So you know what I mean. It's a good song. Right. So when I approach the game, when I approach a run, my first goal is to get to 4 wins. And when I get 4 wins, my next goal is to get to 7 wins. And if I, failed in between of those 2, milestones, well, yeah, I'm a little bit sad, but if I got at least 4 wins, if I'm playing ranked, and to be fair, I'm talking about ranked, because if you do not get 10 wins while playing casual, then yeah, you are sort of salty that you lost. Yeah, in terms of ranked, if you get at least 4 wins, I guess you should be at least moderately happy. At least I am, but that's probably obvious that you want more chests than less chests. That's fewer. But hopefully the open beta will bring some, I don't know. Maybe we finally got a battle pass. Who knows? Maybe we finally got the marketplace open. Maybe there's achievements. I don't know.
Oh my god.
Let us know, because we are recording this a couple of days before the open beta is live. So a lot can happen.
It's crazy the open beta is here. I don't even believe it yet. It doesn't feel real.
Sort of, yeah.
But, so thanks for watching. Let us know how you feel about comeback mechanics, and if you have a comeback mechanic that could work in the game, hey, tell us. Maybe there's card games or something else out there we haven't played that has the perfect solution for the Bazaar.
Yeah, and, maybe literal blue turtle shell should be inside the game. Like, you get an item and that says like, I don't know, cooldown of 15 seconds and you win a fight or whatever, and then it destroys itself. So you get like 1 free win, but you need to, live for X seconds.
That's an interesting idea, actually. But yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. And, wait for Monday because, like this is like the part 1 of the, comeback, I don't know, duology or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. We'll see you on Monday on my channel. So bye.
See ya.
Great.